Hey everyone, how are you? So last night I had very strange dream sequence where I was like sitting on, I guess almost like the edge of a like a cliff, I guess you could say. And what I was seeing was I was seeing it almost looked like versions of Earth that we live in. I would say anywhere the last 20 years, 25 years, and I would see sitting on and looking out each one come, go past, and break up, go, come, and break up. And it was so strange when I woke up. I was like, what is this? Because I generally don't remember my dreams. And this, I'm getting chills. This was so vivid what I was seeing. And it was just like, it was like realities breaking away. And it made me think. I've been thinking of this all morning. It's almost like uh, uh, it, all these things happened. We lost all these timelines merging into the current one now. And I'm gonna like say some things so it may make a little sense actually. If you go back, I don't know how old everybody is, but you can go back to let's say the 80s, 90s, and then into the 2000s. And even before that, if you look back, you'll see like your 60s had a certain era, your 70s had a certain era, 80s, with music, sound, movies, genres like that, 90s, and it kind of stopped at the end of that into the early 2000s. And now it's even in like theaters, you'll see old movies re-released. You'll see constant remakes of movies. You no longer see original programming. Notice I say programming on your television. Music has also lost its that's something special that it had. And then it got me thinking to around the Mayan prophecies in 2012, and with all the things with Project Looking Glass and with Cern. And that's what it kind of felt like in a way, was Looking Glass and Cern and what I was seeing. They can only see up to a certain point with that technology. And I believe they were like trying to find an alternate reality where they can still go further using it. And in doing so, I think they wiped out a few of the timelines that have merged into what we have now. And it's so very strange because like that's how I feel like the Mandela effect comes into play. Like I'll remember something like mirror mirror on the wall. If you look that up, it's magic mirror on the wall. I all my life it was mirror mirror on the wall. But that could be that timeline that is no longer in existence that got waved into all other ones and the residue still sits. I'll know it because I was alive through it. And just jumping timelines by ones that were destroyed. So that particular fractal could come into this particular universe. And I'll have all the memory, and others will too. That's kind of how I see the Mandela effect. But it's just very strange how, at least for me, like I've always been, I would say, aware since the early 90s of things going on with the world, politics, things we were lied to. I used to research in the libraries. So I had like a head start. And then in the early 90s, I saw a program with Jordan Maxwell, and that really got me looking. But I've also, this sequence of what I kind of dreamt, which actually felt real. It really made me start thinking of that time from more or less 2012 to now, also, and how time just seemed like it escalated at that point. Like I can remember the 80s and the 90s, and I remember it feels like an alternate reality to me now when I think back and how things looked. Like today, if you were to go outside and look up at the sky, let's say, and you would look at the sun, you would most likely see a filtration of, even on a clear day, it almost looked like white with the blue, and the sun will just be like a bright white. And you can actually kind of look into it. Whereas I remember in the 80s, that sun was yellow, that sky was a deeper blue, and I could not look into that sun. Whereas now it's totally different. And the feeling like of that time, if when I bring myself back to it, it feels like it's almost somebody else. Whereas if I go back 10 years and the feeling of what I experienced, it feels like the current me. Which is why I'm saying it feels like, to me, like possibly the existence we're living in right now, it's an altered state, kind of, where remnants of your past self have joined now in this particular timeline. Because when I think back and I feel that feeling, it's almost as if you could go step back into your body in that time. It kind of feels off. It feels different. Whereas if I go back 10 years, it doesn't feel that way. If this makes any sense, I hope it does. It's very hard to explain this. But in the past, like 10 years, I like the awakening that at least has happened for me. And it's like a spiritual awakening. And it seems to escalate. It seems to, in a way, be going quicker and expanding more. And I don't know if this was done on purpose, if this was an accident done by them, which wiped out a few of the different timelines, because I feel like there's been almost no originality for the past 20 years. It seems like everything is kind of scripted. People have lost a lot of that creativity, that inspirational childlike feeling that you would have inside, and which creates the growth, which it seems like this spiritual type of community has that, because they will go within themselves. And it just seems like most everybody else who like doesn't see or isn't aware yet, it's almost like a zombie state. It's like people have no more imagination. They just go by what they're told. And it's kind of like more of a divide this way. Now, if you look at like the sayings of Dolores Cannon, things like that, she'll describe the splitting of the earth. And that is a possibility of 3D and 5D, but what about the people that are still here? You know, it has to be like an awakening of the soul for them. Something has happened in the past 20 years that is causing this. You know, you have more people going towards spirituality, and you have more people just drifting away, almost in like the AI perspective, like a separation that way too. And it was just so strange, like what I was seeing last night. I just saw like it was almost like the Matrix, where these worlds were like pixelating away, and just very strange. And maybe this is how people become more aware, like where you'll just know things. It's almost like a knowing. It's like a sixth sense, because that aspect of you in those other timelines just merged with the you now. So it's just very hard to explain. It's all quantum crap. I know it's just amazing, but it was so vivid and so real. It was like everything just like fading away, but yet still existing. Like bringing all these different selves, like coming into the body, coming into the body, coming into the body, coming into the body, with experiences and knowing and knowledge. And I just wonder, like, why isn't it like that for everyone? Why are there still people so lost and out of like connection? Is it done on purpose? Was it done on purpose? Was it done by using of Cern? Was it done by, you know, the end of time prediction with the Mayans? It's just so strange. This is so hard to explain, but I could still see that in the dream. I could just see sitting there and just watching everything. It's like I could almost see everything at once, and I could just see it like pixelating away as everything is going on. And then the next one would come in. It would look slightly different and pixelate away, and pixelate away. Another analogy would be picture pulling a rubber band, having like someone hold it like this, and then you grab the ends like this, and you snap it. It's going to ripple until it hits that point where it's steady. And that's kind of like what it is now, from what possibly was done a few years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and why people see the Mandela effect and all this stuff is somehow they destroyed timelines and destroyed existences. And the fractals of self have come in, but only some people are seeing this, and it's just very strange, very hard to explain. I know this probably sounds crazy as I'm saying this, but this was so vivid, and it just had me thinking this, that with time, yeah, it is speeding up, and it's meant to speed up. And you know, I like in this, I just saw like everything, like I said, pixelating away, but I saw like different alternatives of that, where this place was destroyed, where you know it would look like different type of, from what I could see, like where I was and seeing everything, it looked like the world was different in each one of these. where certain countries were not what they are now. And all this, all the destruction and like a rebirth, it's just so strange. I'm really trying to get a grip on what I actually saw in this because it was I was there. I was seeing all this happening, and it was surreal. Just wondering, like, if anybody else has experiences like this, or phenomena like that. It's just so strange to me. It's just crazy. I don't know. Like I said, if anybody else has anything like that they could share, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear a response in the comment section or anything. But just so strange. Love you all. Namaste.